There is a saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And throughout my life, there have been many teachers. The last teacher who has really impacted my life and made a great change is Don Miguel Ruiz. He wrote a book called The Four Agreements. The book was published in 1997, sold over 8 million copies, and has been on the New York bestseller list for over a decade. So that gives you some indication of how influential this book has been in people's lives. The four agreements. The first agreement he shares is to be impeccable with your word. I have, within the last, I'll say, 10 years, really been stuck on how important our words are. Sometimes we don't realize the real power of words. And it's very important that we monitor and control the words we use. Words are vibrational. They carry energy. They have the power to lift up, to tear down, can break a spirit or can bring a smile, encourage a heart. And once they're spoken, you can't take them back. There is no control, alt, delete in our mouth where we can stop the words before the person hears them. So thinking before you speak is a very good habit to develop to help us with self-mastery, especially if you are hurt or angry. These are times when we really want to monitor our words. When talking with someone about something of a serious nature, I've had people say to me sometimes, just spit it out, just spit it out. But life has taught me not to just spit it out, because when you just spit it out, you got to go back and do damage control. So it's so much easier to take your time and monitor the words that you say before you say them, so you don't have to go back and try to clean up and mop up. He suggests to avoid using words that speak against yourself. Even joking. Sometimes joking, we'll say, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, I'm a loser. Never, ever, ever, even jokingly, use those words to describe yourself. Especially behind the words, I am. Always use positives when you are following the words, I am. To gossip. Those are words. At some point in our lives, all of us have either participated or been in a room or sat around hearing other people gossip. Gossip destroys lives, marriages, and careers. And even if what people are saying is true, we, as we grow spiritually, choose not to participate in it. I've heard people say, well, it's not gossip if you're telling the truth. But why would you want to bring up something that's detrimental to a person, something that happened way in the past? Why would you want to bring it up and highlight it? Not a good thing. Not a good thing. We all have skeletons in our closet. And how would we feel if somebody brought up mistakes we made 10 or 20 years ago? We all, if we had the chance and we look back, would go back and change some of the decisions or some of the things we did. If we had the chance to do it over, we would, but we don't. So let's not throw shade on people from situations that have happened in the past where the decisions they made may not have been the best. Cyberbullying, another use of words that is very detrimental. We have no idea how many of our children have taken their own lives because of people putting words on social media telling them, just go kill yourself, just do this or do that. You don't know the mental state of some of these kids, what they're living with and going through. So we need to be careful of the words we use, even in our household. And when we see children being mean to others or saying words that we know would cut or hurt someone, let's speak on it to them. Let's bring it to their attention. That's not showing love. Let's be loving to one another. You will hear me say every time I get the opportunity to every day look for an opportunity to uplift, to inspire, to motivate someone who crosses your path, especially children, because you don't know what the household they live in is like. And your words could be life-changing to them, even if it's just a compliment with what they're wearing. The second agreement is don't take anything personal. Now, this is a big one. This is huge because so many people say, what do you mean don't take it personal? If they're talking to me and it's directed towards me, it's for me. But guess what? Nothing others say and do is about you. It's a result of their life, their dream, their story, what they have been exposed to. It's not really about you. Learning this one, practicing this one agreement, don't take anything personal. For me, it took about 60% of the stress out of my life. I've always been in customer service, and my last career job was working for the airlines. And I would go in early in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning to work. Here's an example. See, once you learn a spiritual principle, the opportunity will come for you to be able to live it. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm at work, working the ticket counter. A customer comes running in with 10 minutes before the flight is to take off, saying, I got to catch that flight. I got to catch that flight. I very calmly said, I'm sorry, sir, but you won't be able to take this flight. I said, it's too late. He leans over the counter, calls me a word that starts with a B, and it wasn't beautiful. And he said, you are going to let me on this plane. I said, excuse me a minute. And I had a copy of the 4 agreements in my locker posted. I walked to the back, took a couple of deep breaths, read the 4 agreements again, and then I came back out. And I said, sir, as I said before, I'm sorry, you will not be able to make this flight. But if you'll give me a minute, I'll see if I can check with another carrier and see if we can still get you to Chicago to your business meeting. Immediately, his posture changed. I didn't have to do that. If you miss a flight because you're late, it's not our responsibility to put you on another aircraft. However, after checking with one of my supervisors, she said, yeah, go ahead. I checked with another carrier, got him on there. I said, go over and check in, get your bags and everything. He would get in 1 hour later than had he been on our flight. So after he checked in with the other carrier, he came back over to me and he said, ma'am, I'm sorry. He said, I apologize for the way I treated you and for calling you out of your name. He said, I've had a terrible morning. He said, anything that could go wrong did go wrong, and I'm sorry. I said, not a problem. I said, because the name you use, I knew it didn't refer to me anyway. I said, because you don't know me and I don't know you, so I didn't take it personal. And he just looked at me. He said, well, thank you. I appreciate it. From that day until I retired, anytime that gentleman flew in and out of that airport, he would make it a point to wave or say hi, or occasionally he would bring me a gift, some candy or something like that. But I oftentimes reflect back on how it could have been a lot different. Had I got heated, had we got into one of these debates, and I've seen it happen more than one time, and probably had it been 10 years before then, the situation could have been handled a little different. So not taking things personally really can be a blessing if you learn to live that truth. The third one is don't make assumptions. How many of us have had needless heartache in our lives because we assumed something that wasn't true? Oftentimes, well, I realize it takes courage, first of all, to speak your truth, to say what you want. And from working with women groups throughout the years, I find out that's one thing that we may be a little weak in. And I've heard them say, well, he won't hold my hand when we go out. Well, have you ever asked him? Have you ever told him that's important to you? Well, no, because I think if I say it, he might get. Okay, so how's he supposed to know? Remember, his world, his story, his dream is different from yours. So you have to speak your truth. You have to ask for what you want. That way, you make everything clear. There is no room for confusion because you've stated your truth and you've asked for what you wanted. There's an example. I had a friend say, someone came up to them one day and say, I saw you the other day in Walmart, and you looked right at me, and you never even spoke. And this lady took offense. She went and told 3 or 4 other people that so-and-so and didn't speak to them in the store. And when she saw the person, she confronted them. I saw you, and you never even spoke. And the lady said, I didn't see you. She said, well, you were looking right in my direction. She said, honey, I had 1,001 things on my mind. I may have been looking your direction, but believe me, I didn't see you. I would have spoken had I seen you. So she'd been upset 3 or 4 days thinking the lady ignored her intentionally when she actually did not see her. How many of us have ever done that? You're looking in a direction, but you're not looking at the person. Your mind is somewhere else. Or how many of you have had someone come to you and tell you a story about someone, something that happened? They tell you the whole spiel, and they want you to take a side. And because they're your friend, that's what you do. But guess what? There's 2 sides to every story. So you've only heard one, and you've taken the side of what that individual said without even hearing the whole story, without even knowing the truth. So there has been hard feelings. There have been someone who stopped communicating with someone that used to be a friend because they made an assumption that what that person said was the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We need to really, really be careful when we start to make assumptions. The last agreement, the 4th agreement, I love. It says, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment based on how you're feeling. It will be different if you're healthy versus when you're sick. But under any circumstances, if you just do your best, you will avoid self-judgment, you will avoid self-abuse, and you will avoid regret. No more beating up yourself when you feel ill, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel depleted. It is recommended that, if possible, you take a Sabbath day every week, a day where you just rest and relax and do nothing. Now, I know some people saying, I can't do that every week. Okay, if you can't do it every week, whenever possible, take you a Sabbath day. Some people call it a mental health day. Some people call it a self-care day. Whatever words or description you use, just do it. Just do it. You will be surprised how rejuvenated you will be for your body and for your soul and your spirit. How you'll start the next day out just full of energy. And anytime you're learning spiritual principles, especially new ones, I think it's a good idea to have a like-minded friend that is willing to get on the path with you. That way, you'll have someone to remind you when you're out of alignment, when you get off track. They have to know that you're open, so when they call you on it, you won't get defensive, but you'll be someone who says, oh yeah, maybe I could have said that different. Oh yeah, maybe I didn't look at that. Was I assuming? Did I take that personal? Someone who says, yes, you did. And you listen and you regroup. It's always good to have a like-minded person. I'm so grateful to have several people in my life who will do that. And my prayer is that you all, as you continue on this journey, will find like-minded people to help encourage you so that you can improve your quality of life. And even with all that's going on, this pandemic and everything, we still can live our blessed life. We are still so fortunate. We are still, especially here at Unity, we're just so full of love and compassion and support. It's a good day to be alive. And if you will take just a moment, I'd like to do a short meditation. Words. Using the power of words in the direction of love and truth. Imagine how wonderful your life will be when it's filled with uplifting conversations, support, acceptance, compassion. You're building stronger relationships. Speak words at the beginning of your day that is a reflection of how you want your day to unfold. Start your day with words like, "It's a great day and I feel good. I love life. Everything is always working out for me in magical ways." Watch the difference in your life, how things will shift and improve as you speak these positive words daily. Notice how your life will improve as you start to not take things personally. Imagine how much freedom you will have to focus on service and making a positive impact, since you are no longer burdened by other people's judgment. Imagine how beautiful your life is when you're no longer making assumptions, when you're having the courage to be clear, to speak your truth. Imagine the peace and the focus and the support you will get by living this agreement. And last but not least, imagine how wonderful, loving, invigorating, and fun your life will be by always doing your best. Imagine how much self-love, self-compassion, emotional wellness, health, empowerment you will have in living and honoring this agreement. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for tuning in to Unity Renaissance. And if you choose to use any of these tools for transformation, I assure you, you will see some wonderful things begin to happen in your life. Thank you.